Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Chad Weber here. It is Monday morning, and I know I'm a little rough here today, and I know the production value is not exactly going to be wonderful today. I didn't take the time to connect my external cameras and microphones and all that fun stuff like usual, because basically what the message I have for you today is quick and simple, but super important. So I just felt, you know what? Let's just jump on here. Talk about this for just a couple of minutes so you can get back to your week, but with a renewed sense of focus. Because what I want to talk to you about here today is giving up. Okay, so maybe not in the way you mean, or the way that you might think that I mean. I want to talk about when does it make sense to give up with a particular course of action. And let me tell you what brought this on is I was actually online this morning reading a rant by someone talking about how a lot of the trainers and coaches out there, it's almost as if they're perpetuating this myth that if you're not hitting your goals and you're not seeing a boost in income on a regular basis and you're not capturing leads and doing all these things that you want with your business, that it's because you're not working hard enough, that there's pretty much no problem out there that cannot be solved by, well, just be more consistent or just a little more time, a little more effort, work harder, blah, blah, blah. And the fact of the matter is that's wrong. Okay. Let me give you an example. If you, let's say you're heading to a destination and you're walking down a path and you suddenly find out it's the wrong path. This path does not lead to where you're wanting to go. Does running faster down that same path get you to your destination quicker? It doesn't. All it accomplishes is it wastes time, expends valuable energy, and probably pisses you off. Makes you irritated, frustrated, because then you're angry that you wasted all that time and effort, and now you have to double the effort just to get back to the starting point again because you went so far down the wrong path. So in other words, the sooner we find out that we're doing something wrong, that we're doing things the wrong way, the better, right? Because it's quicker and easier and you have more energy to do things the right way. Because let me tell you something. A lot of loan officers tell me that their big goal is to add an extra, let's say $10K a month to their income. Okay, so you want to add between $100,000 and $120,000 more per year income. Would you be willing to double your amount of time in the office and the amount of energy that you expend on work in order to get there? I don't know many people who would say yes to that, right? It's not worth it at that point because there has to be a balance. So point being is oftentimes the reason we're not hitting our goal, or goals, plural, has more to do with the fact that we're heading down the wrong path. We have the wrong trajectory. Because let me tell you something, when you're on the right path and you're able to tap into leverage and momentum and proper courses of action, things don't keep getting more and more difficult and complicated. It's leveraged. So things should actually get easier over time. Now, that's not to say that when you're first setting it all up that it's not going to take extra time. Because that's always to be expected, is you got to get it set up and you got to get it going. But once you get a little bit of momentum, that momentum becomes self-perpetuating. And at that point, you start to see that it becomes easier as you figure things out and things start to fall into place. It becomes easier to get more closings because when you get a closing, let's say you get an extra, you tap into a new marketing strategy and you're closing extra 3 to 4 loans a month. Well, the law of averages say that a certain number of those extra closings each month are going to have referrals, especially if you're doing things properly, doing a wonderful job and asking for those referrals. Same thing applies to your marketing and lead generation. If this activity over here is generating 10 leads a week, but this one over here is generating 20 leads a week, and I know that I can get 1 or 2 referrals out of these 10 leads on a regular basis, then what happens when I double it? So it becomes the abundance and the momentum makes it easier and easier to do more with what you already have. Not to mention the automation that gets put into place. So point being, guys, is at what point do you stop and say, hey, you know what? I'm working too hard. I've been going down the wrong path and focusing my efforts on the wrong course of action. I don't want to work harder. I want to work smarter, and I want to tap into the leverage zone, right? So that's what I want you guys to focus on this week. So again, I told you I wouldn't take up much of your time. Just focus on taking a look at your business and figuring out if you're not hitting your goals, does it have to do with I'm not working hard enough? Because, okay, I will admit in some cases it's just a lack of consistency. But, and especially if you're already a pretty darn good producer, chances are you are doing a lot of things right, a lot of things correct. And it could just be that one or two of your activities that you're focusing on a daily or weekly basis needs to be adjusted to a new trajectory. And once you figure that part out, that's when you get into the leverage zone. That's when it becomes easier to close more with with the time that you're already investing and expending. Okay, so just focus on that for this week, guys, and make it a fantastic, fantastic, wonderful, and productive week. Okay, so I'll see you next time, guys. Make it a great one. Bye now.